July 4th, 1776, the United States declares its independence from Great Britain. April 30th, 1803, the Louisiana Purchase is made. October 29th, 1929, the stock market crashes, the day infamously known as Black Tuesday. December 7th, 1941, attacks on Pearl Harbor. June 6th, 1944, the day infamously known as Doomsday. July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 lands on the moon and Neil Armstrong is the first man to step foot. September 11th, 2001, terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. December 14th, 2012, Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. March 11th, 2020. The World Health Organization declares COVID-19 a global pandemic. What do all these dates have in common? Well, just one thing. Perspective. It's Friday, May 1st, 2020. The world has been quarantined because of COVID-19 for 51 days now. Like so many others, I am going stir-crazy locked up in my house. Although COVID-19 is a true issue, being quarantined is all about our mindset. Sure, it's not ideal, but the view that we have on it will determine our day in and day out lives as we adjust to this new normal. I decided to take David Foster Wallace's advice and attempt to alter my default setting throughout the course of a couple of days. I didn't stop there. Since I am quarantined with my family, I decided to interview them on some of Wallace's ideas, without them knowing much about his speech. Well, here's what happened. When you hear the words default setting, what automatically comes to mind?
Like your instantaneous reaction.
When I hear that right now during this quarantine, this pandemic time, it makes me think about my computer and how I need to set my computer or my printer if I need to print. Normally, I guess it would make me think about resetting and trying to think of things in a different way, in a more positive way, probably.
When I hear the word default setting, I think of almost like an automatic response or the like a generic response to something or setting of something.
Do you believe that it is possible to adjust your default setting?
Yeah, I think that's something. I mean, in terms of a default setting that you could in time train yourself to think differently.
Oh, I think it's definitely possible to adjust our default setting. I think we get to choose to be happy or to not be happy. We get to make that choice every day.
I think it's possible to adjust your default setting, but I think it would take a lot of practice and a lot of work ethic, and I feel like that's kind of a major change since it's something that's almost automatic to like an automatic response that your body does or your body has. So I feel like changing that would be difficult, but I do feel like it's possible.
Specifically regarding these times, how could you shift your default setting during the time of quarantine? Whether it's, going crazy because you're locked up in the house, or, thinking about worldly things that are happening outside of your own life that you could think about differently.
Probably just a matter of like things that we were accustomed to doing on a regular basis with our daily routine or whatnot, just shifting to get to where you have a new routine that's within the boundaries of what we've been told we need to do or are allowed to do.
During this time of quarantine, I think that certainly we have a lot to be thankful for, and I think it's good to be aware of everything going on and all the things that you can do for other people who maybe aren't as fortunate, whether it's going and working food banks or delivering meals to people, making masks, trying to do things like that to bring a more positive light to this quarantine time.
I feel like it's pretty difficult for anyone to shift a routine during this time because of, I guess, all the limitations and restrictions that have been put on us. But I do feel like that it could be possible, and not necessarily easy, but I do feel like we are able, and if you're willing to try something different or try something new that you haven't done before, even if it's around the house, like making dinner for your family or making a new craft that you found on Pinterest and you've never made before, something new and creative that you've never tried before, and switching up a routine that's simple and easy that you're used to. Just trying new things while we're kind of in quarantine and not able to get out much.
So this is a quote from Wallace. He says, "None of this," meaning none of these life choices or none of these thoughts we have about our daily, day in and day out lives, is about morality, religion, dogma, which is like a system of principles, or big fancy questions of life after death. The capital T truth is about life before death. It is about making it to 30 or maybe 50 without wanting to take your own life, basically. It is in plain sight all around us that we have to keep reminding ourselves over and over, this is water, this is water. So again, what do you take from that, and how would you relate it or tie it back into that fish story?
I mean, if I was looking at the fish story and we're talking water, well, water is the environment they operate in every day. So, I mean, they should be accustomed to being in water if we're talking about that and the fish.
Okay.
My thoughts on what is water, my water is Jesus. So I have to stay focused on Jesus to help me through every day and to reset me constantly. And when I do that, that's through devotions, that's through reading the Bible, that's through prayer. So that's how I reset and stay positive, and my focus stays on, what it should be on. And I try not to get bogged down by all the negativity around me, but that's how I do it, is to focus on Jesus.
I think water's almost like kind of a metaphor for life itself, like something living and running and like lively. But I think the capital T that stands for truth itself before death means that we're kind of like unsure about the normalities, I guess, after death, because like no one has seen it and like I guess like come back to tell about it. No one knows what's true or untrue of life after death. So I feel like the T for truth before death is about all the things we know to be true of the world around us and the living things that are before life after death, or eternal life, or whatever you believe is after death.
It's Monday, May 4th, 2020. Today, I drastically altered my default setting. I woke up early, took in the morning sunrise, went on a nice run, and spent some quality time with my parents before they left for work. By taking Wallace's advice, I went from laying around all day, which I had been doing for weeks, to getting up at 6 a.m. and being the most aggressive and the most assertive person I could be about my day. It doesn't matter what form or fashion you want to try and alter your default setting in. All that matters is that you try it. This virus, this quarantine, it doesn't define me, and it won't define you. All you have to do is be the best version of yourself. Get out there and see things from a different perspective.